Not just one, not just two, but three pairs of absolutely fire shoes coming from a Nike Sacai collaboration. And these guys have history and they are absolutely fire. They are guaranteed to set the sneaker world alight and have people attention all over the place looking to get their hands on these guys. And I know what I'm talking about from first-hand experience. And it's that first-hand experience. We have to take a moment of our time and remember those who are no longer with us. And I'm talking about these right here. This is one of the pairs of shoes that I bought for the channel, was happy to unbox for the channel. Unfortunately, I was not able to wear for the channel because they were a ½ centimeter too small for me. And if you know anything about blazers, when they're too small for you, they're too small for you. So these guys were never going to fit the feet, and I kept them for about 18 months, and I pop them out from time to time, and I'm doing videos about blazers or Sacai and stuff like that. And they even had this wonderful little habit of messing up the green screen here, so I'd be holding the shoe like this and you'd be looking through it and wouldn't be able to see much except for the mud guards in the midsole. So it's a long lost friend that's made its way out into the sneaker world to one of the best sneaker stores in Tokyo called Worm. Yes, just like the bug that lives in the ground, Worm. Definitely check out Worm if you don't know anything about sneakers in Tokyo. There's a great place to start your investigation of sneakers in Tokyo. So those and my extra pair, because I bought two pairs by accident, of the Bread 4s made their way to Worm a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago now. So I can't hold them up for you, can't show you them, those beautiful double tongues and double swooshes and double laces and extra mudguards and all that kind of stuff, but I can sure talk about them, especially when what they've done is they've taken that big high shoe that has 1,000 things crammed into it, shrunk it down into a low, and still managed to cram in 1,000 things. So let's get into it and have a look at this. Not one, not two, but three upcoming releases of the Nike Blazer Low Sacai. This is the Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channelです。毎日アップするので毎日見てください。And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And when you're in Tokyo, Japan, and a brand from Tokyo, Japan cracks it together with Nike, and I'm talking about Sacai, they're very much a Tokyo brand that's gone out into the world. And when they're doing a collaboration, it's right in my backyard. You definitely have to look at a shoe like this. Just like these right here, what we're looking at is the Niwashis, the Dunk Low Niwashis, and Niwashi means gardener in Japan. It's a great shoe that I took another L on the sneakers. I can't believe the number of L's. I've got like 24 consecutive L's on the sneakers but that was a very Japanese shoe. I was like, definitely have to have a look at those. And then these guys come around, and just about every time now, I haven't dipped into the waffles when it comes to the Sacai waffles. That's not something I'm too interested in, but the blazers, they definitely catch my eye. And then seeing these guys, three different colorways, shrunk down to the low version of the blazers, and still cracking in all those amazing details that the Sacai line likes to cram into their shoes. An absolute yes for me. So there's no way I was missing these guys and not talking about them, even though I don't have the highs to hold up and show you in hand. But with that being said, I'm going to get into this and we'll talk about it right now and look at these three different colorways. And surely you've probably already seen, I'm going to guess, I haven't made it yet, but I'm going to guess that the thumbnail for these guys is what I usually do when a pack is coming out. I take a bit of each shoe and try and create some kind of hybrid shoe. So what we're talking about is these three shoes here. We'll start off with the orange. I'm just going to call them orange for now, but there are more details about the colors on these shoes, and there's tiny nuances on the shoes that you just don't expect. It looks like three different colorways: the orange, which we're already looking at, and then we go over to the greens and you can see basically the same shoe, and you're thinking they've traded out a few orange bits for green bits, but it's a little bit more than that. And then we go from the greens over to the blacks, and you can see again it looks like they've traded out the green for the black, but again there's a little bit more, just a little bit more than it's just a quick trade out of the colors. It's not like they've just taken the same place in all three shoes and traded the colors. There's a bit more than that in there, and we'll talk about that last, because the first thing we need to talk about before that is all the doubling up, which is the trademark of the Sacai line and Nike cramming it together. Like I said, the waffles have been one side, and then the blazers are the other. Blazer highs, I think these are the first blazer lows to do it with Sacai, and if I'm wrong about that, I apologize, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. And they're coming out on May the 26th, we think. I'm shooting this video, I don't even know what date is it today. It might be the 15th today, it might be the 16th today. It's a Sunday, whatever Sunday is, and that means it will go up on YouTube on, you know, the Tuesday or the Wednesday, 18, 19 for 20, about a week before the drop date, which is a little close for my liking. I actually like to be about 10 days to 14 days before the drop date, but make do with what we've got, and that is these beautiful shoes. So first things first, looking at the doubling up side of things and the extra stuff on there that makes a Sacai collaboration with the blazers, and then we'll get into those subtle, tiny differences between the three shoes that make them go to another next level above all that. So let's start off with those oranges that I was talking about. And this is the one that's basically the only white base shoe that's going on here. We're going to use that to look in on the swooshes, because this is the one that doesn't have a white swoosh on it. The other two do have white swooshes, and we'll kind of get into that when we look at the differences between the three colorways. But these guys, because the orange has a yellow swoosh shadowing it, you can very easily see the doubling up of the swooshes, which is not so easy to see on the greens and the blacks, because the second swoosh is white. But because these guys is orange and yellow, you get a real sense of the strong double swooshes that are going on the side of these guys. And then it's not too far to go up from that onto the laces. Now, theoretically speaking, double laces don't exist because you can just take one out. But basically, Sacai's always come with two laces in them, one in the colorway and usually the other one in white. And they often have extra laces in there as well. But in the case of these guys, because we're talking about orange and being the base of the shoe, it's the orange that makes it up onto the laces, but not the yellow. And then a white second lace in there as well. And you can see running all the way up there, you've got those two laces playing off of each other and giving you that double lace effect, which is a very, very cool effect on the shoe. Now I'm going to jump across to a different color. Let's go with the black guys. Let's have a look at the black ones for, I think the black ones, it would be best to look at the midsoles, not the midsoles, the mud guards. That's the word I'm looking for. The mud guards, because the Blazers usually have one sort of extra strip of mud guard that comes up in certain places, the heel, on the lateral side, on the toe, and that stuff like that. It's just one little extra piece of fabric that comes up to give you a bit more durability and a bit more protection in your shoe. But the big detail that comes in the Sacai's is they totally exaggerate that. The heels are a good place to start to see that. You can see a multi-layer effect going on in the mud guards on the heel, and then if we come across to the lateral side, that kind of pointy little bit that sticks up on there from the midsole coming up there onto the mud guards, you can see again those multiple layers in there. So this is a good shoe to look at that on and get that idea of the extra mud guards going on in there and the extra layers that you get around about the top edge of the midsole on these Sacai Blazers. So we've already had the double tongues. Did I look at the double tongues carefully enough? I didn't, did I? I didn't look at the double tongues carefully enough. I looked at the swooshes and the laces, and then I looked at the mud guards, but I haven't looked at the double tongues. So we'll do that now, and I don't think we've been over to the green ones. So let's have a look at the double tongues on the green ones, because that's a massive feature of these shoes, and they are very stuck together. The separation of the two tongues doesn't go very deep into the shoe, 1 or 2 centimeters into the shoe, and those two tongues become one unit, very, very tightly stitched together so that they don't slip all over the place like two fish sliding off of each other. And that was one of my concerns when I bought the Blazer Highs, was because I wondered if those two tongues would kind of get all over the place, because there's nothing worse than the tongue getting lost in the shoe and having to dig it out of there. But that isn't the case with these double tongues. But very difficult to do that on these lows, because there's a lot less canvas to do your work on, because they're so much smaller than the highs. But still, they've managed to cram in those double features. And on the green ones that we're looking at right now, it's a great way to look at the double tongues. But also, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm right in saying it's standard Blazer material where you don't have a finish around the edge of the tongues, and you see the inside foam still visible on the edge of the tongues. Off-White made that very popular in a lot of their collaborations, but Blazers have been doing it for a very, very long time. So you can see those double tongues with their unfinished effect on there, and that kind of finishes off what I want to look at with the doubled up or the extra Sacai elements of the shoes. But what I wanted to finish on was the different little hits on the shoes in terms of colorway. Now, I hinted at one already, and we looked at the double swooshes on the orange with the shadow of yellow. But if we flip that out to the green ones, you can see the green one is shadowed by a white swoosh, but the upper is actually in grey. And then if we go across to the black ones, the hardest ones to see the double swoosh on, because the black swoosh and the black upper fade into each other very seriously, and then the white swoosh just appears like it's on its own. So the way that the uppers and the swooshes sort of work together with those colors, or the orange white, the orange yellow swooshes on white, and then the green white swooshes on grey, and then the black white swooshes on black, is a little difference between the three shoes. And then the other little difference to go for is on the greens. They're the only one that I've noticed this little hit on, and hopefully what I'll do zoomed in on here is around the laces. You can see there's a tiny little extra layer of blue to give some extra definition on the green ones, which doesn't appear on the orange ones and it doesn't appear on the black ones. So that extra fourth colour, if you think about it, grey, white, green and a little hit of blue, is unique to those green ones and a great way to finish up this video. And thank you guys for checking it out. Now, one thing I didn't take the time to look at, and I'll have to bring this up and hopefully show it to you here, is because I know this from having a pair myself, is that they usually have Sacai branding on the heel, so you'd have the word Nike in the solid sort of big Nike, and then kind of interwoven it in small letters, the Sacai branding. And I don't know if that's true of these guys, but I will put up a picture of the heel so you can get an idea of whether they do or don't have that Sacai branding on there. And that is a good place to finish this video. So hopefully you appreciate that look at not one, not two, but three different colorways coming from a Sacai collaboration with Nike and the Blazer Lows. Great looking shoes, great story, great sort of continuation of an incredible line, and well worth dipping into your pocket, grabbing yourself a pair when these guys come around the corner on May the 26th. We think that's the date we're aiming for. For now though, it's time for me to wrap this one up, and thank you guys for checking out the content. I do truly appreciate it, but the only thing that's left for me to do is to say the thing that I say at the end of every single video, is that I do this every single day, and that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.